Okay, now the equation of this parabola here is y equals x squared. And of course, this gives you a way to construct a very accurate parabola. And you could actually construct a really accurate parabola using electronic devices, as most online or a good graphing calculator. We're not going to use that in this course, except maybe to compare some of our results, because you're going to have to be able to construct these by hand. Just because you can construct it on a calculator doesn't mean you really understand it. You want to understand it at the level of being able to construct it yourself. It turns out this is very, very easy to construct. Okay. Now, anyhow, that's y equals x squared. Here, the equation would be y equals negative x squared, because all the y values up here become negative down here. So if y is equal to x squared up here, it's got to be equal to negative x squared down here when we flip the graph. There's the value of x squared. There's a value of negative x squared. Okay. Over here, we've moved this thing over 6 units horizontally and 2 units vertically. Now, without going into detail, because we will look at this in detail later, just to show you what to be done. The equation over here is y equals negative x minus 6 squared plus 2. Again, you don't have to remember this, but you can kind of look at it and at least, break the soil loose a little bit in your brain to understand a little bit of this. In order to get the same y value here, x has to be 6 units bigger. Okay, that's why it's x minus 6 squared. And of course, it's negative x minus 6 squared, but here it was negative x squared. And then plus 2, there's everything up 2 units. So now, our model this. Now, what if x equals 5? Would we make money if x equals 5? It looks like we would. If x equals 5, we're right here, and it looks like maybe we're up here. We're making less than 1, maybe we're making 0.6. Okay. That's according to my picture. Now, my picture isn't a particularly good one. It turns out that if x equals 5, y is going to equal 1. Okay, so our estimate was a little bit lower. That's because the graph got distorted. We check this. X equals 5, y equals negative 5 minus 6 squared. Quantity 5 minus 6 squared plus 2. Well, 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1, and the negative of that is negative 1. So that's negative 1 plus 2 equals 1. So again, our estimate wasn't very good, but we knew originally that my graph was seriously distorted. This rectangle is way too wide. One more thing we can do, I'm going to squeeze it in down here. If y equals 1.5, what is x? Well, here's 2, here's 1. Y equals 1.5 would be about here. And x seems like it ought to be either this or this, which would be like, well, it's all distorted. It's not a good model, but maybe negative, maybe 5.5 or 6.5. Okay. How would we determine this? Really? We would replace y in this equation by 1.5. And I'm not going to bother solving this. We'll worry about the algebra later. Solve 1.5 equals negative x minus 6 squared plus 2. Now that means I can solve that in my head because you get x minus 6 squared would be 1/2, which means x minus 6 would be about 0.7. So that x would be about 5.3 or 6.7. But and you can check that out. See 5.3 or 6.7 substituted in for x gives us y pretty close to 1.5. It's not exact, but it'll be pretty close, I think. If I did it right, again, another opportunity for you to show me that sometimes my mental arithmetic isn't up to what it should be. Okay. Anyhow, there's quite a bit more about an example. Whether you understand every detail of this, if you understand every detail of this, you're way ahead of the curve. Okay. So you don't understand every detail of this, well, that's about what we usually see at the beginning of a pre-calculus course. That's what we usually see for students who end up being successful in a pre-calculus course. Most of the people that end up being successful don't understand all these details, don't understand all the algebra right off the top of their head. They're rusty. Maybe they didn't learn it as well as they could have, but it's not too difficult. So don't worry if you don't understand every detail, but do understand that there's real world application of this whole process. Again, we're going to go through the process in a lot of detail. We're going to develop it slowly, so don't feel like you have to understand everything I'm telling you about that.